Good afternoon everyone, and thanks for joining us here on this Facebook Live. My name's Chloe Parton from Devon Live, and today we are in the slightly breezy Exmouth here along the seafront, and we are going to be talking to Tom Gibbons, who is the editor of In Your Area, for the Don't Trash Our Future campaign, which is part of the National Clean Up Britain. So Exmouth is one of the many places that received sort of high numbers of litter following the coronavirus outbreak, particularly during post-lockdown. Items such as plastics and glass and used barbecues, camp chairs, even human feces and used sanitary products were actually discarded along the seafront here in Exmouth. So we're going to be speaking to a member from the Plastic Free Exmouth group who can go into some more detail about that very shortly. So we will speak to Tom in just a couple of moments. Just let a few more people join. Lovely. Alright Tom, do you want to step forward here and introduce yourself and basically explain why you're here today?
Sure, thank you. So I'm Tom Gibbon, I'm editor of In Your Area, which is a local news and community information platform. We have partnered with Clean Up Britain, which, as many people know, is a national organisation fighting to make Britain a bit tidier. We have launched with them the Don't Trash Our Future campaign. So what we're trying to do, first and foremost, we need people to sign our petition. We're looking for 100,000 signatures on our petition. We've so far got about 30,000, and that petition is calling for two key things. First one is that we want to raise the maximum on-the-spot fine for littering to £1,000. Second is that we want to write it into law that councils have to enforce that, and councils have to police littering in their areas. You can see the van behind us. One of the screens that you can see there is basically a naming and shaming of lots of councils that we've discovered either aren't issuing on-the-spot fines for littering, or they're issuing so few that it's a pointless exercise. There's nothing being done about it. It was prompted really by some of the scenes that we saw over summer with the lifting of the lockdown restrictions. So places like Exmouth, places like Bournemouth Beach in particular, there were really horrible scenes on the beaches there as people piled into there and just left carpets of garbage behind them. We saw similar scenes up in like Liverpool city centre, Leeds city centre, when the football celebrations were taking place there. So it's something that we really feel passionately about. It's something that we want to do to push forward real lasting behavioural change, and we think the best way to do that, as does Clean Up Britain, is to make the consequences of littering so much more serious.
Lovely. Can you just explain, when did the campaign launch? Sorry.
The campaign launched at the beginning of summer. It's sort of mid-June, end of July, so it's been going a few months. We've got 30,000 signatures on our petition so far. Visit don'ttrashourfuture.co.uk and add your name to that. That would be brilliant.
Lovely. So, in your opinion, do you think that littering has increased following the outbreak of coronavirus?
I think there was a very obvious visible spike. I think people felt cooped up and unable to go out for obvious reasons for a long time. And the first opportunity they took, they went to their local park, the nearest beach, families arguments, celebrating results, whatever, and just didn't care. And just left those awful scenes that we saw, like I say, Bournemouth Beach, Devon. I'm not sure how bad Exmouth was, but there were some horrible scenes. I think it was the culmination of lots of people wanting to come out and just not taking with them the responsibility that they needed to, and just assuming, quite selfishly and quite arrogantly really, that somebody else would clean up after them, and that's not fair. That's not how it should be.
Yeah, exactly. And I suppose that was obviously with facilities being closed, bars and restaurants as well, particularly public toilets. People obviously didn't have many places to kind of discard their litter, did they?
Yeah, but they've managed to bring all that stuff with them. They've brought their crates of beer and their disposable barbecues, which will, weigh so much more when you bring it to a place than it does when you take it away. So it's just basic responsibility, isn't it? You're sharing these beautiful places with other people. Yeah. So do your bit. Yeah.
So what are your views on face masks? Obviously, a lot of disposable face masks have been sort of spotted in and around the towns and beaches, particularly in Exmouth. So what would you encourage people to use, the sort of reusable ones?
Use the reusable ones, but use them responsibly. Mine is handmade by my mother-in-law, so on pain of death if I don't use this one. They're really easy to make. There's all sorts of YouTube videos of how to turn a pair of socks into a face mask. So if you can find a simple way to make a lasting one, a reusable one, go with that. But if you do want to use a disposable face mask, fine, but dispose of it responsibly as you would anything else.
Yeah. And so if someone, sort of a member of the public, spotted someone littering, would you suggest that they would confront that person?
It's a good question actually. We put a survey out on In Your Area asking that very thing, and the vast majority of people said that they wouldn't, because they're scared of the consequences. They're scared of somebody turning around and becoming confrontational. I can completely understand that. What we're trying to get to with this campaign is that litter isn't dropped in the first place, because the risk should be that if you're spotted dropping litter, you can be landed with £1,000 fine, or suddenly find yourself doing 100 hours of community service. That's fundamentally the aim of our petition, to get those laws changed.
Yeah. And do you think there's maybe a lack of bins, perhaps, maybe throughout the UK? Would that be something that could play a key role in this?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, I live in Gloucester. I live just off quite a busy road, the Bristol Road in Gloucester, and there's definitely I can definitely do some bins. That's a bad road. I'm looking. We're on the Esplanade here, and I'm looking. I can't. There's not one. There's one 100 yards or so that way. Is there an argument for more? Potentially. But we equally do understand that councils are cash strapped, and that takes money. But it's all about improving these areas and people looking after them, and everybody doing their bit to make sure that they are doing that. I mean, more bins might help. Fundamentally, it's about people taking responsibility. Taking ways to dispose of litter, going home, putting it back in.
Brilliant. And how did you come up with sort of £1,000 figure?
So we've been guided by Clean Up Britain on that, so that we're supporting a campaign on In Your Area, and we're reaching out to lots of our users. We're obviously part of the same company that owns Devon Live, so we've had lots of good coverage across the regional media to help support that. But Clean Up Britain really are the experts. They're the ones who kind of have done the research and have done all the freedom of information requests. And their founder in particular is a real kind of, it's his life. It's how to fix littering is his absolute passion. So that's where we've kind of got that from, that £1,000 fine. We believe, is the way to force through behavioural change.
Brilliant. And just because we've got quite a few more people watching now, could you just recap sort of what we're doing here today?
So yeah, we're on Exmouth Seafront, we're on the Esplanade. This is our Don't Trash Our Future campaign. Conveniently, the screen's just half turned off, but it should say Don't Trash Our Future on it. It's all about anti-littering. We've got a petition on InYourArea.co.uk/DTOF. We're trying to get to 100,000 signatures on that. Once we've done that, we can go to Parliament and we can lobby for the law to be changed on two fronts. So first, the maximum fixed penalty notice fine for dropping litter goes to £1,000, and secondly, it's written into law that councils must police littering in their areas.
Brilliant. Okay. And why have you chosen Exmouth today?
We're on a bit of a national tour, so it's been to London, it's been to Bristol, it's been to Cardiff. This is the kind of second leg of its tour. So we're trying to reach as many places as we possibly can. Exmouth's obviously a wonderful, beautiful place. It's important that we keep it that way. We're off to Plymouth this afternoon, and we're going up to Perranporth tomorrow morning, and we're booked into Edinburgh next week as well. So yeah, it's on a bit of a kind of a spot tour all over the country to get that message out there as visually as we possibly can when it works.
Brilliant. So how long are you down here today?
We're in Plymouth at 5, so we're here. How long does it take to get to Plymouth? Hour and a half from here?
Roughly, yeah, around that.
Yeah, we'll give ourselves enough time to get to Plymouth for 5 PM. So yeah, a little while longer. There's been some interest. People have been walking past and stopping and looking and asking questions, which is good to see. So yeah, we're here for a little while.
Brilliant, lovely. Is there anything else that you'd like to add in that case?
Just get behind it. If you care about where you live and want it to remain a place that you're proud of, and to become a place that you're proud of, add your weight to that signature, because the more voices that we have behind it, the more powerful the campaign is, and the more likely we are to make those changes.
Brilliant. And just one last time, can you recap the website people need to visit? Is it?
It is InYourArea.co.uk/DTOF, or if that's too much to remember, go to don'ttrashourfuture.co.uk. That redirects.
Great stuff.
Okay.
Lovely. Thank you very much for chatting to us, Tom.
Thank
That's
you.
amazing. Lovely. So we're going to speak to Lucy next, who is a member of Plastic Free Exmouth, and Lucy was involved in several beach cleanups which are still happening at the moment along Exmouth here today. So yeah, I'll pass you over, Lucy, if you could come over here and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Lucy Exash, lovely to speak to everyone, and I am a volunteer doing some beach cleans with Plastic Free Exmouth.
So what did you guys do sort of post-lockdown in regards to removing litter? What was organised?
So we decided to organise a weekly beach clean, which originally was at 7:30 on a Sunday morning at Walkham Point, but now it's been changed to 8:30 on a Sunday morning. It's informal, so anyone can come along. Please, if you are joining us, if you've got a litter picker, that would be brilliant. If you've got your own gloves, that would be great. the idea behind it is to try and get as many of the local community involved to come down and to beach clean, but also the pavements around the beach area. And if you know Exmouth and you know the Auckland Point area, there is a zigzag area where there's bushes and shrubs, so try and get in there to try and clear as much litter as possible.
And for those who obviously aren't aware, maybe they don't know Exmouth and that kind of thing, can you sort of paint a picture of the items and what kind of a state Exmouth was left in on several occasions really in post-lockdown?
Yeah, so obviously because of the amazing weather we've had and the amazing summer we've had, lots of people have been visiting the beach, which is brilliant, and lots of people have been staying at home, having their staycation rather than going abroad, which is brilliant, and we want as many tourists and we want as many people visiting Exmouth as possible. However, what happened on the back of that was people who'd come to the beach and enjoyed the beach had not necessarily taken their litter home. Obviously this isn't everybody, but there are a number of very public, it went on the media and went in the media, etc., occasions where the beach was left in an absolute state, and a group of us at various points visited the beach and we cleaned the beach and the surrounding area as much as possible. Most common things we found were glass bottles, the lids to bottles, tin cans, and the thing with those items is that they are so easily recyclable. Cardboard boxes which had bottles of beer in and things, barbecues which I'm going to talk about, we also found nappies, used nappies that had been thrown in the hedge, sanitary products which was absolutely awful, human feces left everywhere, I could go on and on, lots of plastic waste, more than that as well, and so many basically disgusting items that shouldn't have been left here.
Yeah. And since sort of carrying on with your beach cleans, since places like bars, restaurants, and other public toilets are reopened, do you think the kind of issue has sort of decreased a little bit?
Yes and no. We've not had the big beach gatherings which were made, people were made aware of, I think, in the media. I think that's partly because the novelty's worn off and obviously schools are going back now. So there's not been such huge events where there's been things left, but there is still, you could go down there now and on initial looking it looks clean, but if you start going through the seaweed and stuff, you find little pieces of plastic, you find like tea stirrers, you'd find loads of cigarette paraphernalia, so the little wrappers that filters come in, cigarette ends, so there is still stuff there. It just might not be the bigger items, but it wouldn't take much for you to hunt around and you would find stuff quite easily. But I think if you came down probably on a Sunday morning after a nice Saturday evening, I think you could probably still find it now. I think it will naturally get less because the weather's getting worse and it's not hot, so people don't want to stay around so long.
Exactly, yeah. And can you just talk about sort of the council's role, because obviously a lot of people will be asking, sort of, weren't the council active like around this time? What, from your experience, were they active? Have they been around during all of this?
Yeah, so every time me or any of our team have been down for a beach clean, we've seen the council. So on a Sunday morning they come at about 8:30 to collect the rubbish that is put in the bins on the seafront, and then I assume they go along the whole seafront. So I always regularly see them around. They have litter pickers, so they'll do like the immediate area, but they won't go into the shrubs and things because they don't have time. They've obviously got to do as much as they can in the time that they have. So in my opinion they have been incredibly present. They have done, I mean, some mornings there has been piles and piles of rubbish and they cleared it all, more than just what's in the bin. So people are trying to dispose of it in that way, but it's loads of it. So they have been, in my opinion, very active, very present, doing as much as they can, but obviously they're limited in terms of staff, in terms of time, so you know that's not their fault that they necessarily can't clean everything up, but also nor should they. It's our responsibility to take home the rubbish that we take to the beach. So the nappy, for example, I found, take it home with you, but there's loads of bins along the seafront as well. Put it in one of the bins. You know, it takes nothing to put it in the car, take it home and put it in your own rubbish bin. And as Tom said, like, people come to the beach with stuff so they can go home with it.
Exactly.
So that's what I think.
Lovely. And just for anyone else, could you just recap what Plastic Free Exmouth does, who they are, and how anyone can get involved?
Yep, so we are a completely volunteer group. We meet on a Sunday morning, but that is casual, so you can come along. We say roughly 8 to 8:30, but if you wanted to come earlier or later, that would be great. We're basically working with, it's an initiative brought together by Surfers Against Sewerage to try and make plastic
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for that. Is there anything else that you would like to add?
That's it.
Lovely. All right. Well, thank you very much, Lucy,
That's
for
okay.
talking to us. You've
Thank
been
you very
amazing.
much. Thank you.
And thank you all for watching our Facebook Live today. If you want to find any more information, visit the In Your Area Don't Trash Our Future website, where there's plenty of information, and you can also sign up there. And lovely. Thank you very much, and we'll see you again on our next Facebook Live.